Hello and welcome to the video. Welcome to another round of analysis and observation. Today we have a tournament match between Nerexa, also goes by Seryca, not two people, as I used to think, one person, going against the season champion of the most recent season finals for the Total Tavern Tournament Series, Enticity, a very scary player. So right off the bat, I'm seeing something really interesting from Nerexa, is the Amber Wizard on what looks to be an Imperial Griffin. The reason this is interesting is pretty much all heroes and casters, well, all casters for the Empire, you can put them on a Pegasus or a horse, but the Amber Wizard gets the unique option of taking the Griffin. Now, this is a good fighter, terror-causing monster that comes with the Blood Roar passive, so it lowers the leadership of units around it on top of causing terror as well. So very cool, very interested to see. I wonder if he brought healing in reserve as well to heal this thing up in case it gets in danger, but we'll see. Bringing Flock of Doom, very meta, and Amber Spear, which is less meta, and so I'll be curious to see how he uses that. Marcus Wolfheart, some War Wagons, and looks like a big man-tide, but oh, and the Hergig Jaeger Corpse coming in stock. 2 units of Great Swords, which will do really well into Forsaken, which are very meta for the Warriors of Chaos. Though I'm not sure. Oh, I do see a few Forsaken for the Warriors of Chaos. It looks like Enticity is going for a very wide, about as wide as you can get, actually. Pretty much the width of the entire map is a line of Chaos Warriors and various units. Now for the hero core for Enticity, he went with a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle, Rancid Visitations. Looks like his only spell, nice damage spell. And then the Chaos War Shrine of Tzeentch, which is a very interesting choice. This one has a cool ability where if any units die on the map, just anywhere at all, which really lends itself to this wide playstyle. I mean, you're going to have a lot of units dying. It gives, I believe it's Winds of Magic and reserves, yes. So casting more of those spells, just Rancid Visitations, looks like a Chaos Sorcerer of Death in the trees will also be using Forbidden Rod to produce more Winds of Magic. Nice Flock of Doom there, and shots from the Hergig Jaeger Corps and the War Wagons doing some poke, though Enticity is going to get the triple cap right off the bat, so that's going to force all of the pressure onto Empire to make a move here. And looks like Nerexa might be, nope, just positioning with the Vanguard Zentler's Reichsguard, the ROR Reichsguard unit, and Enticity doesn't have a lot of agency at the moment besides the Hell Cannon. These infantry units can't really contest Elite Knights or the shooting, but it looks like he might be building up for a big surround is what I'm thinking. Yeah, you get some units on this flank, you surround, and then you go for a timing push, so you limit the amount of shooting damage you take coming in. But gonna pull back for now, so the armies are just positioning. Looks like some damage went on to the Amber Wizard. Likely a Rancid Visitations, I would think. And that's kind of going to be the game plan for Enticity, I believe, is buying time, spamming out Rancid Visitations, and the Amber Wizard is going very deep into enemy lines here. Maybe this is what the Amber Spear is that we saw taken, possibly going to be hitting the Hell Cannon. It looks like it is going to be shooting a magical javelin here in a moment. Let's see what kind of damage it does. Enticity did pull off of the Hell Cannon. He detached the crew and pulled back so that the shot wouldn't hit the actual physical model of the Hell Cannon. Just hit the crew instead, who of course are unbreakable. So really nice control there by Enticity, avoiding that direct damage. Looks like Empire is going to get Objective 2. That is going to put the impetus on Warriors of Chaos to make a move. And it does look like what I had been mentioning, Enticity going for the full surround over here, going to go for a hard push on the left flank. But these Marauders are taking some serious damage on the way in from the Jaeger Corps. Hell Cannon hits a tree, the valiant tree of Sigmar right there, holding things together. Zentler's Reichsguard over here going deep into enemy lines. I think this may be a mistake. Hellstriders on top of infantry will do really good work into them. We have a flank over here with the Marauder Horsemen who could get some shots in as well. Looks like we have Forsaken getting melted. Yep, the lines are clashing here. The Warriors of Chaos going in hard. Yep, another Rancid Visitations really mitigating the usage of that Amber Wizard. Hellstriders over here coming in on the flank onto more Empire Knights who are fleeing, but Nerexa pulls out more Empire Knights and some Spearmen. Yeah, I think that's the right choice. Buffer with Spearmen, use these Empire Knights somewhere somewhere more useful. The great swords will do really good work here into the Chaos Infantry. I think that's going to be a really nice choice that Nerexa made in the here clashing in the middle, because there's no infantry damaging spell for Enticity. It really all is in Rancid Visitations. Eliminate the big targets. Amber Wizard going way behind enemy lines here. It looks like was possibly going for a pick on the Hell Cannon, but Enticity did summon out some Hellstriders to buffer that away. Middle looks like it's still... No, Empire is holding that, so it is a double cap, but I have a feeling that points are not going to be the deciding factor in this game, as these armies are going at it straight away. Hellstriders do get free from their net, and if they can stay... Nope, their leadership does break, so the Jaeger Corps might survive another day. Rancid Visitations, there's going to be a lot of those throughout this game. Going on to Marcus as Enticity goes in for the kill here. But I think this is pretty far behind enemy land, so I think Marcus is going to get away. Looks like Empire holding pretty strongly over here on the flank, though there are some idle Marauders with great weapons there. Forsaken have a path up the middle at the moment as well. And it looks like, yep, Enticity is really just trying to make his way around these infantry units and just trying to get to the Jaeger Corps, shut down the shooting. Oh, and it looks like we have a situation with the Hell Cannon. That Amber Wizard did not leave, still hanging out, got the crew very low, significant damage on them. But as long as there's one little Chaos Dwarf left, the shooting is going to continue, and those throwing axes will buffer away the Amber Wizard. Looks like Chaos, no pun intended, quite literally in the backfield here as the Forsaken go into the Empire Knights, surrounding this Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Such a good hero. He's going to be able to grind through those Chaos Knights, no problem. The infantry are holding for the forces of the Empire with war wagons. Really nice chariot to run over infantry and shoot at any larger targets that come. Hellstriders cleaning up on the flank here, but there really is a solid foundation of shooting and units, especially with the Free Company coming in now. These are going to do really solid damage. Looks like that Chaos War Shrine is in trouble with all this shooting. The Jaeger Corps has rallied as well. Looks like they don't have it. Oh, they do have a target selected, all going after that War Shrine now. Going to put in a lot of work. That thing might be going down. Looks like the Hell Cannon is still active. Hasn't selected a target, or not sure what's going on back there. Maybe it did go down. Amber Wizard has returned to the fight, though. Another Rancid on Marcus. Probably could have used that on the Amber Wizard. Might have taken it out. But it looks like the Chaos War Shrine of Tzeentch is going to go down here from the combined shooting. Really want to make sure you take that down as Nerexa, or else it will keep producing those winds of magic for Enticity. Yep, and down grows the Great Shrine of the Changer, and that's going to reduce the magic coming in from Nurgle. Flank coming in here with the Marauder Horsemen. Looks like they are going right into the fire of these Huntsmen, though, and they probably will not make it to their destination. Might have wanted to hold those back. Flock of Doom will do... nope, that's was maybe a potential Flock of Doom from the Amber Wizard. Not sure what that is. Hellstriders down here fighting into Great Swords. No one has the advantage there, but Great Swords just will outlast them. And I think the lines of Chaos are breaking right now. Hell Cannon, let's see if it's still active. Yep, still active, so that is an advantage for Chaos. We'll be able to do nice, steady damage, but it looks like it's not really putting down the Jaeger Corps, who keep firing, and the Man Tide is starting to surge forward, and I'm not seeing a lot really present for the Warriors of Chaos. There is that Sorcerer Lord who does not really have anything opposing him, especially with Rancid. No characters are going to come near him. But this shooting from the Empire, showing Nerexa's kind of, I would say, classic style of how he plays Empire. There's only one net time. Usually he brings either a Lightcaster or the ROR Luminarch, which also has a net. But this mixed arm style is doing really well right now. Rancid Visitations on Marcus. Looks like the Sorcerer Lord is going to get his target. Valiant Hero of the Empire going to be cut down by the Stinky Ones, I believe. We'll have to see how that goes. But from the rest of the battlefield, the Empire could be close to getting a triple cap here. Is sending some Spearmen up. Amber Wizard still Still trying to kill this Hell Cannon. I don't think it's going to work out. I think he's going to get caught here in melee. And yep, looks like he's about to rout, especially with the trolls. Flock of Doom, one last before he goes. This could be enough to kill the Hell Cannon crew, but I don't think it's going to be. Amber Wizard is routing. Got to make sure you chase him off there as Enticity does take off into the sky. So, ooh, that might have been a mistake from Enticity. Oh, it was a terror rout on the Marauder Horseman. That's why. But pretty close to the edge of the battlefield here, so might just run off. Looks like Marauder's summoned out there. Yep, and the Hell Cannon is still active. Marcus also still active. Not sure where the Chaos Sorcerer Lord went. Did he die? What would have possibly happened that could have taken out a full health Chaos Sorcerer Lord? Okay, maybe he's hiding in the bushes. I don't totally understand what I'm looking at right now, but hey, who knows? So Marcus hanging out in safety in the backfield. The infantry moving up, taking the objectives. Great Sword's going to be a great anchor here, no pun intended again, on their Hell Cannon. Could switch onto them and do some nice damage, though. Over here on the flank, did their Lord go down? We can check through the leadership. The Lord did die somehow. So I'm guessing Marcus got a net down. All that shooting turned about face and wasted that Chaos Sorcerer Lord. That is pretty crazy. Maybe Enticity was focusing on this micro on the opposite side to save the Hell Cannon. Who knows? Spearman moving up here on objective 3. There is a points lead for the Warriors of Chaos, so they do have a little time to work with, even though they are down on objectives. Could possibly bring that Chaos Sorcerer Lord back. A lot of the Chaos build was put into producing as much magic as possible, so I think Enticity might save up for that. We'll see. But he's got a big challenge here. He is the season champion, but there's quite a lot of I was about to say sweaty, but that's more Nurgle is the sweaty faction, I would say. I think these Empire Free Company militia probably do smell pretty bad, given the lack of showers in this fantasy time period. But regardless, Marauders moving up, trying to make some progress. Shooting over here from the Free Company militia. Is that the ROR? Yep, Sterling's Revenge. They do have AP, going to do really well in these armored trolls who get routed off. Objective 3. Just looks like some Marauder Horsemen over here. Yep, getting a huge charge from the Zentler's Rexguard. That is not what you want to have happen as Marauder Horsemen. They will get decimated in that melee engagement. And I think this might be the end of the road for Enticity here. He really just does not have enough left on the field. Hell Cannon as well, getting shut down by Swordsman. Yep, that is going to be a good game here. Really fun match there. Was really interesting builds. I think maybe Enticity probably wishes he brought Burning Head as well, some type of infantry damaging spell to deal with that mass of Empire troops. Let's see what kind of... I'm curious what the value on the Amber Wizard here. That was a really interesting pick. Rancid Visitations did counter it out super hard, though. And it looks like the tech with Amber Spear was to snipe the Hell Cannon, but Enticity's control was really good, being able to pull back whenever that shot went in, showing why he is the reigning season champion. Really nice build from the Empire. Was interesting from Enticity. I mean, the high magic was really cool, but it didn't... I mean, it did get the kill on the Amber Wizard eventually, but Marcus lived. And it looks like the defining moment we did happen to miss as that Chaos Sorcerer Lord got netted and gunned down. Thank you for watching, and we're going to cut over to another Nerexa replay now after this. Okay, here we are in the second of the Nerexa tournament matches. I believe this was from the same tournament, and I love matchups like this because this is two tournament winning tournament players playing their main factions. Now, Dana Cantrop, I'm just going to call him Dan, I don't know how to pronounce that, is kind of the Dark Elf Master at the moment in the tournament setting. I don't think there are really any other consistent Dark Elf mains at the moment, and I love seeing players like that who really focus in on a faction, become experts with it, and that's really what you have to do if you're on a limited time frame, like a limited availability to play, is you kind of got to pick one faction, and then in SFTs you can compete with that one faction. It's a really good way to get into the tournament scene. And then Nerexa, of course, is the master of the hardest wood, the High Elves, and coming with a really cool double dragon build. Looks like Helm of Discord, so it's going to be the melee Glade Lord option. You can choose one that takes a net. That's kind of the other option. followed up by a regular forest dragon, and then there's got to be life healing somewhere. Looks like in the woods, yes, when spell slingers do get a bonus in the woods, if I remember correctly. Spell mastery, no, maybe that's an item you have to take. Regrowth for the dragons. Dark elves are looks like they are taking Flock of Doom and Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, so a little buff there, very interesting. It looks like the Dark Elves do have some shooting with the two bolt throwers that will be able to compete with those dragons. Looks like Nerexa is coming around onto the other side of this forest from the shooting, potentially, of the Dark Elves, maybe using the tree line as cover. In the middle, it looks like Dark Riders are trying to add some capture weight against the advancing Wood Elves, who are coming in very boldly, I gotta say. I mean, there is a lot of anti-infantry in the Black Ark Corsairs with high armor who will do really well against the non-AP of these various War Dancers here. It looks like Wild Riders going in for an early charge. Not a bad idea. As the dragons dive into enemy lines, Breath Attack going down, doing nice damage on the Shades, but taking equal damage back. That AP shooting is going to do really well, especially with those bolt shots coming in, and Cold One Knights could collapse on top of that dragon. We'll have to see how that goes. Wild Riders did good damage. Helm of Discord going down as the Glade Lord just goes hog wild and stomps on these Black Ark Corsairs in the middle. Intense action going down here. How did that dragon fare in the background? Yep, getting harried by the Cold One Knights might be the end of this dragon. If Nerexa can kind of peel it off with some other units and get some healing, that'd be really good. Units on the flanks here from the Dark Elves don't really have anywhere to go. You're used to seeing Wood Elf shooting, and they don't really have any shooting to push on top of, just more infantry. Interesting full melee rush from Nerexa here. Crows of Cain, great healing flying unit coming in for the Dark Elves, but this blob of Wood Elf infantry is really pushing well right now, and we're starting to see the Dark Elves crumble a little bit in the middle. A lot of terror routes going down. Shades are compromised by War Dancers in the background. That's going to hurt a lot. Bolt throwers have focused down on the Glade Lord, getting some serious damage in there. The Beastcaster has come out from her hiding in the woods. Probably, yeah, she turns around, goes right back in. She sees the situation going on in the middle and goes, actually, I am not interested. Nope, changes her mind and going right back in. Cold One Knights are a good deterrent here, but yep, those regrowths on the Forest Dragon are huge, and it is right back up to full HP, and does not have a care in the world. Glade Lord diving in really deeply here. Seems Nerexa does not think Dan has anything scary to summon out of these deployment zones, and is just going to keep trying to abuse these bolt throwers in the back, who are struggling to get a ton of value with how close this dragon is. They're not able to land a ton of shots. Wild Riders going to be running over more infantry. Crows of Cain chasing after the Wild Riders here. Value is really close. I mean, the Dark Elves do have numbers where the Wood Elves have quality. Cold One Knights are rampaging through. There has not been much to challenge them so far, and those Wild Riders are taking a lot of damage as the army ability for the Dark Elves does trigger. What is that called again? Murderous Prowess, giving a buff to every unit in the army. That was on the battlefield, not reserves. I'm going to make a really scary Dark Elf army for the next minute. Cold One Knights getting on top of Wild Riders, who have dived onto the Shades. Probably going to take them out. Boltfire Thrower really just trying to focus down the dragon, though not getting a ton. Both are very healthy, and I have not seen anything for the Dark Elves that is really going to be able to threaten them. Looks like Helm of Discord was going down, or... Oh, I had a little bit of lag there. Sorry about that. Helm of Discord going down. And yeah, I'm just not sure what the Dark Elves are going to be able to do about these two dragons. Mobility for the Wood Elves is doing well enough, but the Cold One Knights are theoretically a counter to the dragons, but they just keep pulling back and just stomping around. The Dark Elves need to have some type of solution to this outside of Cold One Knights, I think. And if they don't, I think that will be the downfall of them here. It looks like Dan really was expecting the type of wide shooting builds you see a lot of times from the Wood Elves, with Way Watchers, potentially the devastating shooting unit for the Wood Elves. But maybe the Cold One Knights can rally things here. And you do win this game on points, not necessarily on wiping out the army. So if we can get some objective play, which looks like Dan is going for here with a couple of units, take objective 1. Breath attack doing some nice damage into the Cold One Knights. Over here, Dragon is getting low for Nerexa. Looks like a regrowth is going to try to change that, though. Cold One Knights and Crows of Cain are taking out the supporting units for the Wood Elves, and I think that is how you win this as Dan, is you ignore the dragons and you really just try to wipe everything else off of the board, and then you can sit on the objectives and take those comfortably. Right here, Dragon trying to get a terror route, it looks like, onto these Bleak Swords. Crows of Cain are waiting around for a target, and Cold One Knights looks like he might be going for that strategy, are going to chase off some Glade Riders. We have Dark Riders over here taking out these Wood Elves on the flank. And looks like the Wood Elves are running pretty bare bones in the surrounding area. Helm of Discord might be going down. Looks like it was. So 2 dragons here with Helm of Discord could easily beat these Cold One Knights. I think you just need to pull away if you're Dan. Supreme Beastcaster looks to be running away from the 2 dragons. And we are starting to see quite a bit of control from the Dark Elves. Eternal Guard is a really nice counter to that, though. They will be able to force the Dark Elves to call in some type of infantry to deal with this situation. And I think this is a mistake from Dan. These dragons are just going to heal up with regrowth anyways. I don't think your damage is going to provide a ton of value for you. Over here, it looks like the Dark Elf mobility did take this objective, though a unit of Glade Riders with Hagbane tips is threatening that. Crows of Cain here, looks like they are diving into more cavalry archers. More Eternal Guard coming out. Really nice choice from Nerexa. Just to hold on to that point lead you have. You don't want to get triple capped and start hemorrhaging value is really the only thing you want to avoid. Okay, maybe going after Dragon could work out. We have Cold One Knights with Bolt Fire Thrower coming in from the front. Though there is that regrowth that I was talking about coming in again. Going to be mitigating a lot of that damage that happened. Witch Elves will do really nicely into the Eternal Guard here. A hard counter to those Eternal Guard. Though if there are breath attacks from the dragons, that could melt them pretty quickly. Okay, I'm eating my own words here. As the Cold One Knights lancing in are able to potentially take down this great beast for the Wood Elves. Looks like it is still not routed, though. Still pulling back to its own lines. So might make it safety. Great. Oh, looks like he had a canceled breath attack. No, and it was just had a little hiccup and then got the rest out. Unfortunately, that timing did make it miss. And yep, this dragon is probably going to make it to safety. Bolt Fire Thrower putting some good pressure on the enemy lord there. Helm of Discord going down into 2 Cold One Knights right now. Flock of Doom coming in from the Dark Elves. Those Cold One Knights probably going to get stomped, especially with Eternal Guard here. Yeah, that is a really bad fight for those Cold One Knights. Losing a lot of army strength right there. The damage is in Dan's favor, but Nerexa has a ton of healing that has came in on those high HP dragons. So I don't think that is a fair representation of what's going on right now. Wood Elves trying to take objective 3 over here. That will give them a ton more time to work with. But these Dark Riders here will likely stop that. Getting the charge there on those Glade Riders is really nice as well. Okay, Wood Elf Lord is getting into the high danger zone, and I don't know if a regrowth is available for the Wood Elves right now, having used it on that other dragon. Okay, so maybe persistence is paying off, especially as that Glade Lord gets really low, 700 HP, he is routed, taking more shots. Okay, if the Dark Elves, and there is, the Crows of Cain do terror route, so they won't be able to run off this Glade Lord immediately, but the other dragon is probably, no, looks like the other dragon is rallying, so there is a chance, if he can get a regrowth off onto the Glade Lord, that he will come back. Crows of Cain need to route onto that Glade Lord right now to make sure it runs off the edge of the battlefield. It looks like they are going after the other dragon, which is okay, but the bolt thrower shots are really accurate, and looks like those bolt throwers staying active is coming up in a big way right now. Shots coming in from downtown, very accurate. We need one more shot to rout off this dragon. Oh my goodness, is it still in range? Is there gonna be the bolt? Is the bolt of champions gonna come in? Here it comes, right on target, and that is gonna put down the Wood Elf Lord. And I have to eat my words here, as persistence did pay off for Dan, and now that will create a morale penalty for the entire Wood Elf army. We have Witch Elves here in the middle, going to be able to dumpster these Dryads, but Dryads do have magic damage, and Witch Elves do have physical resistance, so not a bad trade for the Wood Elves there. Middle is going to be held by these Eternal Guard. Wild Riders here on the flank going into Dark Riders is a great trade from the Wood Elves. These Reindeer Cav will smack these Dark Riders pretty significantly, though a recharge from the Dark Riders will do nicely as well. Look how low that leadership is with the Lord going down. Going for a break here, Eternal Guard would be a bad fight for these Cold One Knights, but if they can get a break, which they do, might be able to buckle that position. Over on this flank, Witch Elves do get rear charge by the Missile Cav, which isn't their best fight, but looks like it gets the break there as well and gets the job done. Dragon is returning back to its own lines. I don't think Nerexa is going to be able to resummon that Lord with how expensive Dragon Lords are. So it's going to be no Lord for the Wood Elves from here on out, though they do have very high leadership, so I think they can make that work. Nerexa going for a leadership break on these two Cold One Knights. They are really low in HP, so might be able to get that. But both these factions are very high leadership, so might be able to hold on. It looks like they do and chase that dragon away. No leadership breaks on either. Really impressive from the Cold One Knights. Cold One Knights are going to win this fight for the Dark Elves, taking out the Wild Riders, and Objective 3 is still held by the Dark Elves. But the Wood Elves do hold Objective 2 and Objective 1, so they definitely have time on their side and are pushing close to a triple cap situation for the Dark Elves. Cold One Knights do not want to be fighting the Race of Frozen Heart. I think the Dark Elves should have pulled away for this fight, but the Cav are coming in, though the timing might be too late to salvage this situation in the middle. Yep, looks like it is, and the Dark Elves are going to go for it still, going for a big charge. A Flock of Doom from the caster would be fantastic right now. I'm not sure what the Winds of Magic situation is. This dragon might be dragged down here by the Cold One Knights. Dryads, though, are providing great buffering. As you can see, Dark Riders, Cold One Knights, these Dark Riders are likely going to route too as well, and the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are here, the elite Wood Elf Cav. These guys are an incredible anchor in situations like this where there's not a lot of units for either army, because they are fantastic one-on-one, especially into these Cold One Knights, who are their primary counter. Dragon does flee, removing terror from the situation. Witch Elves here with the Witch's Brew have insane melee stats. They are going to butcher their way through these Wraiths. Looks like Hunters of Kurnos diving deeply, trying to get on the Cold One Knights, but they are countercharged by Dark Riders and the Cold One Knights, so not a terrible fight really for anyone there in that situation, though the flanking Cold One Knights might be decisive into the Wild Hunters here. Regrowth going on them will do really nicely, and the Dragon has returned. If it can get there and get some terror routes, that will be really big. We have Witch Elves here fighting into the Dryads, duking it out. Over here we have some Cav trying to take Objective 1, but this really is the battle right here. Whoever wins this fight, I think, will be winning this game. Dragon is very low. Cold One Knight unit is going to be taking it out there. These Cold One Knights fighting into the regrowth Wild Hunters of Kurnos, but without that Lord, there is a leadership penalty, which could be decisive here. Duking it out, the elite Cav for both armies. Reindeer Cav versus Velociraptor. There's something you don't get anywhere else. Loving it. Looks like, oh man, this fight is just grueling between these two units, taking equal health from the other one. Soulblight, though, looks like there must be some Doomfire Warlocks coming out here, and that could be what's needed to win that for the Dark Elves. Yep, over here, Doomfire Warlocks, who will do really good damage there. Insane non-AP damage. Will melt those Glade Riders there. Glade Riders over here getting a triple cap for the Wood Elves. No, looks like the middle was taken by Dark Elves, but that is buying a lot of time. Wood Elves do not need the objectives for much longer here, and the Wild Hunters of Kurnos somehow surviving through all of that, I think might be that decisive factor I was talking about. This is such an elite unit. They'll be able to, with their magic damage, Doomfire Warlocks have crazy physical resistance, so these guys will be a hard counter to the Doomfire Warlocks. And looks like Dan will likely get Objective 3 with the Cold One Knights, but it's going to take time that he does not have. Middle is also getting threatened. Over here, you have Doomfires getting melted by even just a fraction of these Hunters of Kurnos. Look at that insane damage coming in. Um, Looks like I'm not sure who's going to win. Doomfire do win just because the Hunters and Colonels were so low, and Doomfire Warlocks are also do good damage into the Hunters and Colonels as well. Not sure if he's going to be able to get that objective though. Looks like the Hagbane tips on the flank here are going to be able to push him off, and I think that is going to be GG. Looks like Dark Elves do have battlefield control, but it's just taking too long to implement. Going to be losing the middle as well. Flanking attack coming in. Yep, that is going to be defeat for the Dark Elves. Really nice games from Nerexa here. Thank you for sending those over my way to cast. Really appreciate that. And really cool tournament action. There was a lot of interesting stuff in both of those games. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.